you enjoyed the music in our lobby before the show, provided by the Flute Frenzy. For more information about this group, please see the insert in your playbill.
This is Ebenezer Scrooge. I do not know why you are in a theater when you could be out earning honest money. But I'm being given generous compensation for this announcement. And so, for the moment, we will all pretend that I like you. The players are in need of more people to help with concessions and ushering in the theater. Those who help out can stay and see a free performance. I'm sure, given what they are paying, that they will employ some of the most gifted individuals in our fair city. Those inspired by this story to work for free can get what you so truly deserve by sending a note to volunteering@williamsburgplayers.org with your name and email address so they can bother you before upcoming productions. Now that you have squandered the chance to earn an hour's salary by listening to these announcements, it's time for the show. Please silence your infernal devices, put away cameras and other recorders, and pay close attention while I speak. Perhaps you will learn something. If they had paid me more for this announcement, I might have finished by feigning joy as I wished you and yours a Merry Christmas. Sadly, they did not.
That's it for TV tonight. Did you hear me?
Okay.
Tim.
What?
Homework.
Your teacher wants you to read A Christmas Carol. I mean it, Tim.
All right. Marley was dead to begin with. There was no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Mind, I don't mean to say that I know my own knowledge, but there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade, but I shall not be the one to upset a simile. Permit me to repeat, therefore, emphatically, that Marley was as dead as a doornail.
This must be distinctly understood, or else nothing wonderful can come of the story we are about to relate.
Scrooge knew he was dead?
Of course he did. Scrooge and he were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, administrator, assign, legatee, friend, and mourner. Though even Scrooge was not so dreadfully cut up by his passing. Not so much as to miss one single business day at any rate.
Scrooge never painted out old Marley's name. There it stood for years afterward above the warehouse door, Scrooge and Marley.
The firm was known as Scrooge and Marley. Sometimes people new to the business would call Scrooge Scrooge, and sometimes Marley. He answered to both. It was all the same to him.
Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, clutching, covetous old sinner. Hard and sharp as flint. Secret, self-contained, and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheeks, stiffened his gait, turned his eyes red and his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. He carried his own low temperature always about with him. He iced his office in the dog days, and didn't thaw it 1 degree at Christmas.
He associated with no one, and no one associated with him.
No.
Even the blind men's dogs appeared to know him, and when they saw him coming, would tuck their owners into doors. He spoke to no one, and no one spoke to him.
No.
What did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked, to edge his way along the crowded paths of life, wanting all human sympathy to keep its distance.
Once upon a time, all the good days of the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was cold, bleak, biting weather, foggy withal. The city clocks had only just gone 3, but it was quite dark already. Scrooge's counting house was as gloomy and bleak as the weather outside. Indeed, there was little degree of difference. Scrooge kept a wary eye on his clock, Bob Cratchit.
Well, Cratchit, what is it?
Beg pardon, sir, but I was wondering if perhaps we might add a lump of coal to the grate. It's getting a bit chilly in here.
A lump of coal, is it? Certainly not. I don't have money to burn, Cratchit. And if you think your working conditions here are not satisfactory, if it's too chilly for your delicate fingers, Cratchit, I suggest you find yourself a warmer place of employment.
Yes, sir, Mr. Scrooge, just as you say, sir.
And see you don't waste any more time for which I am paid.
No, sir, Mr. Scrooge.
A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle. God save you.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle. Well, you don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, Uncle. What reason have you to be dismal? You're rich enough.
Ah, humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas. What is Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without any money? Time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle.
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it? But you don't keep it.
Well, let me leave it alone then.
Much good may it do you. Much good has it ever done you.
Well, there are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited, I dare say, at Christmas among the rest. But I am sure I have always thought of Christmas time, when it has come around, as a good time. A kind, charitable, forgiving, a pleasant time. It's the only time in the long calendar of the year when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely. And therefore, Uncle, though it has not put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
Hear, hear.
Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your position. Well, you're quite a powerful speaker, sir. Ha! No wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Well, don't be cross, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
I'll see you in blazes first. You, asking people to dine? I dare say you and your foolish wife haven't enough for yourselves.
But why be so obstinate, Uncle? Why?
Why did you marry that penniless Gary?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. That is probably the only one thing in this world more ridiculous than a Merry Christmas. Good afternoon.
But, Uncle, you never came to see me before I married. Why give it as an excuse for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
Oh, but, Uncle, I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. We've never had a quarrel to which I have been a party. But I made this call on Mr. Christmas, and I shall keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, Merry Christmas, Uncle!
Good afternoon.
And Happy New Year!
Good afternoon.
Merry Christmas, thank you.
Well, there's another fellow, my clerk. 15 shillings a week with a wife and family, talking about your Merry Christmas. I'll retire to Bedlam.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Do we have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
It's up there, madam, but it may not be a pleasure.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Marley.
Mr. Marley's been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago this very night.
Well then, Mr. Scrooge,
Yes.
we've no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner.
Uh-huh.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we make some slight provision for the poor and destitute among us who suffer greatly at this time. Thousands are without basic necessaries, and hundreds of thousands are in want of common comforts. Now we
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
The union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are, sir. Still, I wish I could say they were not.
The treadmill and the pool law are out in full vigor then?
both very busy, sir.
Oh, well, I'm very glad to hear it. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
Under the impression that this ghastly furnished Christian cheer of mind or body to the multitudes, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We choose this time of year because this is the time of year above all others where want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall I put you down for?
Nothing!
Oh, you wish to remain anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. Since you asked me what I wish, that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I support the establishments I have just mentioned. With my tax payments, they cost enough. Those who are badly off must go there.
But many can't go there, and many more would rather die.
If they would rather die, they had better do it and decrease the surplus population. Good afternoon. Merry Christmas. Humbug.
At length, the hour of shutting up the counting house had arrived.
Well, you've wasted enough time anticipating it. Close up, close up. And you'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose.
If quite convenient, sir.
It is not convenient. And it's not fair. If I were to stop £0.50 for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound. Yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work?
But it's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Still, I suppose you must have the whole day.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Be here all the earlier next morning.
Yes, sir. I will, sir. And a minute. Good night, Mr. Scrooge.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas!
Come on!
The office was closed in a twinkling, and the clerk, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, for he boasted no greatcoat, went down the slide on Cornhill at the end of the Ballina Boys 20 times in honor of his spade Christmas Eve, then ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could pelt to play at blind man's buff.
Merry Christmas!
Gentlemen, Merry Christmas to you.
Thomas Shelley!
Mr. Scrooge.
I've been looking for you. Your rent is 3 weeks past due.
Yes, sir, Mr. Scrooge. Well, you see, sir, it's been a very difficult time for us.
Has
And
it?
it's...
Well, tomorrow is the 25th. And if I don't have your payment by then, you and your family will be without lodgings. Do you understand me, Thomas?
But it's Christmas Eve.
Do you understand me, Thomas?
I do, sir.
Then make good! Make good, Thomas. Pay! Or live elsewhere.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge!
Nah, humbug.
Come on, let's go, children.
Merry Christmas, sir!
Get away from me, old woman.
beguiled the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went home to sleep. Scrooge lived in a gloomy, lonely suite of rooms at the end of a dark, remote courtyard. This night, the courtyard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew every turn, had to grope his way. Fog and frost covered the old gateway to the house.
Now it is a fact that there was nothing particular about the knocker on Scrooge's door, except that it was very large. It is also a fact that Scrooge had seen it night and morning during his whole residence in that place. Also, that Scrooge had as little of what is called fancy about him as any man in the city of London. Well then, let any man explain to me if he can how it happened that this night Scrooge saw not the brass knocker, but Jacob Marley's face.
Oh, what is that? Well, it's gone. But it was there, I'll be bound it was. Jacob Marley's face. Ah! Imagination. Who? Just imagination.
The sound of that old door closing resounded throughout the house like thunder. Every room above and every cask in the wine merchant's cellar below appeared to have a separate peal of echoes all its own. Although Scrooge was not a man to be frightened by echoes, he did cautiously inspect the back of the door, as if he half expected to be terrified by the sight of Marley's pigtails sticking out into the hall. But there was nothing there, so he said humbug.
Humbug.
Took off his hat and his cloak, made his way across the hall and up the stairs into his bedroom, trimming his candle as he went. Scrooge, satisfied that he'd only imagined he'd seen Marley's face, took off his cravat and his coat, put on his dressing gown, and his nightcap, and his nightcap,
Humbug.
made his way into the sitting room and settled himself before the fire to take his gruel for the head cold that he had. It was a very low fire indeed, nothing on such a bitter night. Scrooge was obliged to sit close to it and brood over it before he could extract the least bit of warmth from such a handful of fuel.
Beastly cold. Ebenezer Scrooge. What was that? Ah, it's humbug. It's humbug still. Ebenezer Scrooge. I don't believe it.
Scrooge remembered that ghosts in haunted houses were described as dragging chains.
Ebenezer Scrooge! Ah! What do you want of me?
Much, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Well, who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Well, who are you then? You're particular for a ghost or whatever you are.
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Jacob? Oh. Can you sit down?
I can.
Well, do it then.
know my reality beyond that of your own senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach causes them to cheat. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. You're a humbug. That's what you are. Humbug. Mercy, dreadful apparition. Why do you trouble me?
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
Well, yes, I do, I must, but why do spinners walk the earth, and why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide, and if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turned to happiness.
Jacob, don't do that. You are fettered. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it, link by link and yard by yard. I girded it out of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you? What? Ledgers, cash boxes, deeds, mortgages? But when you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself, what? It was full heavy and long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago.
No!
You have labored on it since.
No!
It is a ponderous chain.
No, tell me more, Jacob. But speak comfort to me.
I have none to give. It comes from other regions, Ebenezer Scrooge. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond the confines of our counting house in life, and now weary journeys lie before me.
You must have been very slow about it, Jacob.
Slow?
Well, 7 years dead and traveling all the time?
The whole time.
No.
No rest, no peace, incessant torture of remorse.
Don't do that, Jacob. You were always a good man of business.
Business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, and benevolence were all my business. Why did I walk through crowds of my fellow beings with my eyes turned down, and never raise them to that blessed star which led the wise men to a poor abode? Were there no poor homes to which its light could have conducted me? Business. In life I failed my business. I drove it to bankruptcy.
Jacob, please.
Heaven, my time is nearly gone.
Yes, I will, Jacob, I will. But be not hard upon me.
How it is that I appear before you in a shape that you can see, I may not tell. I have sat invisible beside you many and many a day.
What?
But I'm here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate.
Oh, good.
A chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer.
Well, you were always a good friend to me, Jacob. Thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and the hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
Oh, but I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path that I tread.
Yes.
Expect the first tomorrow night when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour.
Yes.
And the third upon the next night when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrator. Oh, look to see me no more. And look that, for your own sake, you remember what has passed between us. Jacob!
Scrooge became sensible of confused noises in the air, incoherent sounds of lamentation and regret. The air was filled with phantoms. Every one of them wore chains like Marley's ghost. The misery was with them always. Yet they sought to interfere for good in human matters and had lost the power forever.
Jacob! Jacob! Well, he's gone. But he was here. I saw him. No, I won't say that. Oh my, it's after 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the morning. I must get some rest.
Scrooge, much in need of rest, went straight to bed without undressing and fell instantly asleep. Suddenly, the clock struck 1 and Scrooge awoke.
What's that? 1 o'clock? Well, that's not possible. It was after 2 when I went to bed. Well, the clock is broken. An icicle must have got into the works. 1 o'clock. Why, it's not possible I've slept through an entire day and part into another night. But it couldn't be dark at 1 in the afternoon. Oh! Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Well, who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
Oh, well, may I inquire what it is you wish of me?
Why, only your welfare.
On my welfare? Well, I'm very much obliged. But don't you think a good night's sleep unhaunted
But
by...
don't I think a good night's sleep unhaunted by ghosts would serve your welfare better?
Yes.
No. Definitely no.
No, you don't, eh?
No. Come, take heed, rise, and walk with me.
But I'm mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but the touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
Oh, Spirit, where are you taking me?
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either hand. The city had entirely vanished. The darkness and mist had vanished with it, for it was a clear, cold winter day with snow upon the ground.
I know this place. I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
He was conscious of 1,000 odors floating in the air, each one connected with 1,000 thoughts and hopes and joys and cares, long, long forgotten. Let us go on.
Yes.
They walked along the road, Scrooge recognizing every gate and post and tree, until a little market town appeared in the distance, with its bridges, church, and winding river. Some shaggy ponies were seen trotting towards them with boys on their backs, who called to one another,
How? Robert! James!
"These are but shadows of the things that have been. They have no consciousness of us."
But Spirit...
Why was he rejoiced beyond all bounds to see them, and to hear them give each other Merry Christmas? What was Merry Christmas to Scrooge? What good had it ever done him?
Hey, wait!
Why, I know this place. I was a boy here. I was in boarding school here.
You remember it then? Your school days?
Remember it? Why? Well, yes, I do now.
Strange, you've forgotten it for so many years.
Yes.
The school, not quite deserted. The solitary boy, neglected by his friends and family, is left there still.
Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Thomas. Goodbye, Philip. Goodbye, Ebenezer.
Poor boy. Poor lonely boy. That was me.
What is that upon your cheek? Your lip is trembling.
It's nothing. Nothing. Oh, I just wish that... Oh, but it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Oh, there were some children singing Christmas carols at my door last night. Well, I should like to have given them something, that's all.
Do you remember that Christmas, what happened? Do you remember your sister, little Fan?
Little Fan! Yes, I had forgotten that too. But I remember now. So long ago.
Ebenezer, dear brother. Fawn, what are you doing here at school?
I've come to bring you home, dear brother. To bring you home.
Home, that's a Fawn?
Yes, dear brother. Home for good and all. Home forever and ever.
But what about Father?
Father is so much kinder than he used to be. That home is like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one day night when I was going to bed. I was afraid to ask him once more if you might come home. And he said, yes, you should, and sent my new coach to bring you.
Home for Christmas?
Oh, yes, Eben. It'll be so wonderful having you home for Christmas. You want to be a man now, and to never come back to this place again. But first, we will be together all the Christmas long, and have the merriest time in all the world.
So we shall, Fawn. So we shall.
She was quite a woman. Quite a woman.
A delicate creature, but she had a large heart.
Oh, so she had, Spirit. So she had.
She died a young woman, and had, as I think, children.
No, one child.
True. Your nephew, Fred.
Yes, Fred.
By the dressings on the shops, that here too it was Christmas time again, only it was evening and the streets were lighted up. The ghost stopped in front of a certain warehouse door. Do you remember that warehouse in London town?
Remember it? Why, I was apprenticed there. Why, that's old Fezziwig. Bless his heart. Oh, Fezziwig, alive again after all these years.
Goodness gracious me, 7 o'clock already. Oh, there, Dick, Ebenezer.
Yes, sir.
No more why, boys. No more work. Tonight is Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Now the guests will be here soon, so let's clear away before man can say, Jeff Robinson. Hey, old there, Dick. Jeff, Ebenezer.
It was done in a minute.
Every movable thing was packed up as if we were dismissed from public life forever. There were Christmas screens, Chinese lanterns, candles, and a Yule log.
In came a fiddler with his music book, took his station at the lofty desk, and began tuning. like 50 stomach aches.
In came Mrs. Fezziwig and the 4 Miss Fezziwigs and the 6 young men whose hearts they broke.
And in came all the young men and women employed in the business. The housemaid, the baker, the cook, and the milkman.
There were dances, and there were games.
And more dances.
And there was a cake, and a great piece of cold roast, and mince pies, plenty of beer, and a great pudding. But the great effect of the evening came after the cold roast and after the boiled pudding, and when the fiddler struck up Sir Roger de Coverley.
Stood up to dance with Mrs. Fezziwig. No one at the party was a match for the 2 of them. Did they advance and retire, hold hands with your partners, bow and curtsy, corkscrew, thread the needle, and back again?
when this domestic ball broke out, Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig took their stations on either side of the door and, shaking hands with every person, wished them a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Do we know her?
No, I don't think so. Merry Christmas, Ebenezer.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Ebenezer.
Yes,
Merry Christmas, Ebenezer.
yes, it was indeed.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude.
Small?
Why, is it not? Old Fezziwig has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money. 3 or 4, perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves this praise?
It's not the money, Spirit. It was the happiness he brought us. Why, it was quite as great as if it had cost a fortune.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing particular.
Something, I think.
No. I should like to be able to say a few words to my own clock just now. That's all.
Yet there is more for you to remember.
Oh, my. Belle! No, Spirit! I know this night. I cannot look. I cannot bear it.
Again, Scrooge saw himself. He was older now, a man in the prime of life. His face had not the harsh and rigid lines of later years, but it had begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. There was an eager, greedy, restless motion in the eye, which showed the passion that had taken root.
What is it, Belle?
It matters very little to you. Very little. Another idol has taken my place, and if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol?
The golden one.
Belle, this is the sheerest nonsense. Just because I work hard to try to get ahead in the world, to make a better life for us, for you.
You fear the world too much, Ebenezer. All your other hopes and dreams have merged into the hope of getting ahead, of acquiring money and power. I've watched your nobler aspirations fall off one by one until the master passion game engrosses you.
What then? So I've grown so much wiser, what then? I'm not changed towards you, am I?
Our contract is an old one, made when we were both
poor and content to be so. We agreed to share whatever life brought us together, to work together, but now you were changed. You shut me out and keep me at a distance.
Belle, you're being childish. You cannot live in a romantic dream.
I have always thought love, truly shared, was the loveliest of romantic dreams. Oh, you have changed, Ebenezer.
I was a boy. I've grown up, and you must too.
You see, even you say you've changed. I have not. And now that we both know it, I can release you.
No.
Release me? Have I ever sought release?
In what? No.
Then what then?
In this change that has come over you. Tell me, Ebenezer, were it not for our old love, the love we once shared, would you seek me out and try to win me now?
Belle, this is all nonsense.
No.
Do you think not?
I know not now. And I release you with all my love for the man you used to be. Goodbye, Ebenezer. May you be happy in the life you've chosen.
Spirit, show me no more. Why do you delight to torture me? Spare me, I pray you.
One shadow more.
No more. No more, I don't wish to see it. Show me no more.
But the relentless ghost forced Scrooge to observe what happened next. They were transported to a room, neither large nor handsome, but full of comfort. And seated next to the fire was a beautiful young girl, so like the last, Scrooge believed it was the same, until he saw her. Now a comely matron, yet as beautiful as she was in her youth, and surrounding them were more children than Scrooge could count, all running and laughing and playing in the great expectation of Christmas. When a knocking was heard at the door, a great rush ensued to greet the father, all laden with Christmas toys and presents.
Merry Christmas. For you, my fine fellow. Merry Christmas to you, my dear. Merry Christmas. And to you, my little one, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, children.
When all the presents had been distributed, and the children's joy, gratitude, and ecstasy expressed and shared, the children went off to bed.
I'm so glad you're home at last. We were getting worried.
Belle, my dear, I'm sorry I'm late. Merry Christmas, my dears.
Thank you. Thank you, my dearest, and a Merry Christmas to you.
And now, Scrooge looked on more attentively than ever, as the master of the house, with his daughter leaning fondly on him, sat down beside her and her mother at his own fireside. And when Scrooge thought that another such creature, quite as graceful and full of promise, might have called him father, had been a springtime in the winter of his life, his sight grew dim indeed.
By the way, Bill, saw an old friend of yours this afternoon.
Oh, who was it?
Guess.
Oh, how can I? Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window, and as it was not shut up and he had a candle inside, I could scarcely help seeing him. His partner lies upon the point of death, I hear. Very sad. All alone. Quite alone in all the world of Jubilee.
The poor man. I feel so sorry for him.
Oh, Spirit, what have I done? What have I lost? Spirit, remove me from this place and show me no more.
I told you, these were but shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are, do not blame me.
No more! No more! No more!
conscious of being exhausted and overcome by an irresistible drowsiness, and, being found in his own bedroom, fell instantly asleep.
Are you the second spirit?
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the likes of me before?
Never.
Have never walked forth with the other members of my family?
Well, I don't think I have. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,800.
Oh, my. Tremendous family to provide for.
Well, then, Ebenezer Scrooge, since you have known my brothers but little, approach. Know me better. Know my time and my age. My sights and my sounds.
Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion and learned a lesson that is working in me now. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe. They stood in the city streets on Christmas morning. The shops were still half open, radiant in their glory. There were pears and apples, clustered high in blooming pyramids. But the customers were all so hurried and so eager in the hopeful promise of the day that they rumbled up against each other at the door and left their purchases on the counter and came running back to fetch them.
And the Spirit sprinkled the incense of Christmas cheer on all he passed, quelling an angry word here, spreading Christmas cheer there. But soon the steeples called the people all to church and chapel, and away they came flocking through the streets in their finest clothes and with their gayest faces. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men.
Miss Spirit, they all seem so happy and full of good humor.
Indeed, it's Christmas, the happiest and best humor time of all the year. Is that so strange to you?
Well, I'm ashamed to say that it is, but it has been for a long time past.
Well, come then. This is the present.
Yes.
This Christmas now.
Yes.
Christmas present. Look, Ebenezer.
The Spirit conducted Scrooge to the house of his clerk, Bob Cratchit. Then up rose Mrs. Cratchit, dressed out but poorly in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons, which are cheap and make a goodly show for a sixpence, and she laid the cloth. Then Peter and the two smaller Cratchits, boy and girl, came tearing in.
Mother, outside the baby's a smoked goose, and new for our own.
Yes, my dear, and whatever is keeping your precious father in Tiny Tim. And Martha was asleep last Christmas by half an hour. Here's Martha, Mother!
Here's Mother. Listen to Goose, Martha.
Bless your heart alive, my dear, how late you are.
We had a deal of work to finish up last night and had to clear away this morning, Mother.
Well, never you mind, so long as you are here. Sit you down by the fire and have a warm.
No, hide. Hide, Martha, hide.
Then came Bob the father, with at least 3 feet of comforter, exclusive of the fringe, hanging down before him. His threadbare clothes were darned up and brushed to look seasonable. Tiny Tim upon his shoulder. Alas for Tiny Tim. He bore a little crutch and had his limbs supported by an iron frame.
Why, where's our Martha?
Oh, not coming. Not coming? Not coming upon Christmas Day? Here's Martha, Father! And how did our little Tim fare in church?
As good as gold and better. Why, he gets so thoughtful sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest things you've ever heard. Why, he told me coming home.
I hope the people saw me in church because I'm a cripple, and it might be pleasant to them to remember, upon Christmas Day, who it was that made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
When the goose and the gravy and the potatoes and the applesauce and the pudding were all set on, grace was said.
Lord, we gather before this humble feast, hearts brimming with gratitude. In this blessed season of goodwill, may we remember the poor, the weary, the cold, whose cups are less full, whose tables are bare. Let not the spirit of charity be forgotten, but dwell ever in our hearts, that we may share freely of our plenty as thou hast shared freely of thy love. Amen.
Amen.
Followed by a breathless pause as Mrs. Cratchit prepared to plunge the knife into the goose. The long-expected gush of stuffing issued forth. Hurrah! There never was such a goose. Despite its small size, its flavor and tenderness were the themes of universal admiration. Eked out by applesauce and mashed potatoes, it was a sufficient dinner for the whole family. At last, the dinner was done, the table cleared, the hearth swept, and the fire made up. Apples and oranges were laid upon the table, and a shovel full of chestnuts upon the fire. Bob served hot stuff from the jug as the chestnuts sputtered and crackled noisily.
Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Tell me, Spirit, will Tiny Tim live?
I see a vacant seat and a crutch with half an urn carefully preserved.
No!
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
No, good Spirit. Say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here.
But Spirit...
What then? If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population. Those are your very words. If you are a man in your heart, take back those wicked words. Why should you decide who shall live and who shall die? Perhaps heaven will decide that you are less fit to live than this poor man's child.
Mr. Scrooge, I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of this feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a feast of my mind to feast upon. And I hope he'd have a good appetite for it, too.
But, my dear, that's the children. Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I am sure, upon which one drinks to the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge.
She knows you well, Eloisa.
He is, Robert. No one knows it better than you do, poor fellow.
But, my dear, Christmas Day.
Very well. I shall drink yourself, for your sake, and the day's, but not his. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man. He's very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
Merry Christmas
to Mr. Scrooge.
That's my dears.
The Spirit. They all seem so happy and so thankful for such a meager fare. Such a small goose for such a large family.
Yes, your clock. 15 shillings a week with a wife and a family. Talking about a Merry Christmas.
As Scrooge and the spirit left and went quickly along the streets, it was getting dark and snowing heavily. The spirit showed Scrooge the simple celebrations of miners deep underground, of seamen on the high seas, of people in hospitals, almshouses, modest homes, and jails. In each instance there was the sharing of Christmas greetings, or Christmas tunes, or stories of Christmases long past. At each visitation, the spirit left his Christmas blessing. Finally, the spirit conducted Scrooge to the house of his nephew, where Fred and Alice were enjoying a joyous Christmas party with their friends.
As I live, he believed it too.
More shame for him, Fred.
He's a comical old fellow, that's the truth, and not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offenses carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he is very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
Oh, what of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it, and it does him no good.
Well, I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill withers? Himself, always. Here he has it into his head to dislike us and won't come to dine with us, but what's the consequence? I mean, he doesn't lose much of a dinner.
Well, I like that.
Oh, forgive me, my dear. I meant to say it's a very good dinner and some pleasant moments that could do him no harm. Well, he may rail against Christmas until he dies, but I defy him. Every year I go there in good temper and say, Uncle Scrooge, Merry Christmas! Well, if my going there for Christmas every year only leaves him in the vein to leave his poor Clark 50 pounds, that's something. I think I shook him yesterday.
Well, let us hope so. Someone or something should. Here now, enough of this unpleasantness. Let us have some games. Everyone. Fred, you start us off.
No, my dear. Ooh, how about yes and no?
Oh, that's a good yes! Here now, Fred, you go first. Well, all right, everyone all set?
We're ready.
We're all set, Fred.
Go.
Is it a mineral?
No.
Vegetable.
No.
Animal?
Yes.
Fierce animal.
Yes.
A fierce animal. Does it live in Britain?
Yes.
A fierce animal in Britain. It's in Scotland.
Ah, no less.
In the country?
No.
No, not in the country. A fierce animal in London.
Oh, come, Fred. There are no fierce animals in London.
No, they're not.
Oh, yes, there are.
Is it dangerous?
No.
Fierce, but not dangerous? What on earth? Is it a dog? A big dog? A St. Bernard?
No.
Is it huge, then?
No.
A fierce, but not huge.
A bear. Is it a bear?
No, my dear, it's not a bear.
Does it live in a menagerie?
No.
Fierce animal in London. It isn't huge and not in a menagerie.
And not dangerous. Don't forget, he said not dangerous.
Yes, fierce, not dangerous, in London, but it does not live in a menagerie.
Well, ask the question. You have to ask questions.
Ooh. Wait a minute. Does it run at large?
Yes.
Walks the streets freely, does it?
Yes.
Oh, do go at it, Topper. I think he's finally onto something at last.
Is it a human animal?
Well, I suppose one could say yes.
Oh, I think I found it, Fred. I think I know.
I do too.
Oh, do ask it, Topper. Hurry, we shall all die of suspense.
It's...
Yes.
It's...
Yes.
Your Uncle Scrooge!
Well, in spite of himself, he has given us plenty of merriment, and it would be ungrateful not to toast to his health. And here's a bit of the spirit of the occasion, close at hand. So I give you Uncle Scrooge. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to the old man. He wouldn't take it from me, but may have it nevertheless. To Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge to Uncle Scrooge.
My time grows short, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Our spirit's lives so short then.
My time upon this globe is very brief indeed. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark, the time is drawing near.
Well, that's 3/4 past 11, Spirit.
Yes, while there is yet time. Look, man, look, lest you ever forget. Look, man.
From beneath his robe appeared a boy and a girl, ragged, scowling, wolfish, yet frightened and prostrate in their humility. Where angels might have sat enthroned, devils lurked.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's, and they cling to me, appealing from their father. This child is ignorance, this child is want. Beware them both, Ebenezer Scrooge. But most of all, beware this child. For on his brow I see that written which is doom unless the writing be erased.
Spirit, I promise you, the lessons you have taught and the things you have shown me shall not be forgotten.
It were well for you, Ebenezer Scrooge, that they be not forgotten.
Yes.
Mark well the hurt of need and the scars of poverty, the woe of those things that man might change but does not.
But have they no resource? No refuge?
Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? Those who are badly off must go there. Those who would rather die, let them, and increase their surplus population.
No more, Spirit, I beg you. I will do the things you have taught. I will learn, I will. I promise. I promise. Of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You are about to show me shadows of things that have not yet happened, but will happen. Is that so, Spirit? Oh, ghost of the future. I fear you more than any spectre I have yet seen. But as I know that your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be a man other than what I was, I am prepared to bear you company, and do so with a grateful heart. Will you not speak to me, Spirit? Well, all right. Lead on, lead on. The night is waning fast and time is precious. Lead on.
No, I don't know much about it either way. I only know that he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, what was the matter with him? I thought he never died.
Heaven knows.
Or the devil, perhaps.
What will he do with his money?
I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps. He hasn't left it to me, that's all I know.
It's bound to be a very cheap funeral. Upon my life, I can't think of anyone to go to it. Oh, maybe we should get up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided. But I must be fed if I go.
Well, I am the most disinterested party after all, because I never eat lunch and I never wear black gloves. But I'll go if you do.
Capital, it's agreed. But, have you no friends at all? Well,
I'm not actually sure if we weren't his particular friends.
We?
Well, don't you recall? He spoke to us once.
Oh, so he did. So he did. Well, I must be going. Season's greetings.
Spinach, why do you show me this place? I know those people. Whose funeral were they talking about? Tell me, Spinach.
Old Joe. Hi, old Joe.
Who is it? What you want?
It's me, old Joe, the Undertaker's man. I got business for you.
All right, come in, come in. Fine business it's bound to be this time of night. Waking an honest man from his peaceful sleep. Sit you down over here and let's have a look. Let's have a look. Now I couldn't wait for the light of proper day. Let's get a good look at what you got here. Yeah. Watch fob and seal, cuff buttons, pencil case, gold, ring. Ooh, it's a nice one. Let's make it £1, 2, and 3.
What?
That's your account, and I wouldn't give you another 6 pence if I were to be boiled for not doing it.
Old Joe! Hi, old Joe!
Who is it? What you want?
It's me, Ducks. I got business.
All right, come in, come in. Let's see what you've got.
Old Joe! Hey, old Joe, open up. It's me, Meg. I got a choice item for you, I have.
What devil's work's afoot this night? Come in, come in. You know the way unless I miss Ma, I guess. You're knowing a stranger here now, eh?
What odds then, Mrs. Dilber? Every person has right to take care of themselves. He always did.
That's true indeed. No man more so.
And who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
Oh, indeed.
If he had been a little nicer in his lifetime, wicked owl screw, he'd have someone to look after him when he was took, instead of being all alone by himself, gasping up his
That's the truest word that ever was spoke. It's a judgment on him. I wish it were a little heavier judgment, and it would have been too if I could have laid my hands on anything else. Open me bundle, old Joe, and let me know the value of it. I ain't afraid to be first. We all knew pretty well we was helping ourselves before we met here. Open the bundle, Joe.
Ah. 2 shirts, fair condition.
Fair?
Fair, I say. Ah. 2 sheets, 1 boot. 1 boot? Where's the other one?
It's on my foot.
Sugar tongs, teaspoons. I always give too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine. It's the way I ruin myself. Let's make it £1 even.
What?
Ask for another penny, and I'll knock off half a crown. Ah, now, who's next?
Now, undo my bundle. Joe.
Now undo my bundle, Joe.
What do you call these? Bed curtains?
Aye, bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took them down, rings and all with them lying there, do you?
Yes, I do. Why not?
I always said you make your fortune, and you'll do it sure.
Well, I sure shan't hold back my hand when I can get anything in it by reaching it out for the sake of such a man as he was, I can tell you that. Hey! Don't drop the tallow on the blanket now.
His blanket?
Well, whose else do you think? He ain't likely to take cold without it, I dare say.
He didn't die of nothing catching, eh?
Oh, don't you worry about that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him for such things if he did. Oh, you won't find no hole in that shirt. That's the best he had, and a fine one too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't have been for me.
What do you call wasting of?
Putting it on to be buried in for sure. Someone was a fool enough to do it, but I took it off. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it ain't good enough for anything.
Took it right off the body, did ya?
Aye.
Well, that's the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead.
No, Spirit. I see. This might be my own case. What a horrible thought. This is a fearful place, Spirit. May we leave it? I will not leave us less, and I promise. Please, Spirit, let us go. If there is any person in this town that feels emotion caused by that man's death, let me see that person. Please, Spirit, I beseech you.
What is the news? Is it good or bad?
Bad.
We are quite ruined then.
No, there is hope yet, Caroline.
If he relents, there is. Nothing is past hope if such a miracle has occurred.
He is past relenting. He is dead.
Oh.
When I went to see him to obtain a week's delay, an old woman told me he was very sick. He was not only sick, but dying even then.
Well, to whom will our debt be transferred?
I don't know, but before that time, we shall be ready with the money. And even though we were not, it would be bad fortune indeed to find so merciless a creditor and his successor. We may sleep tonight with light hearts, my dears.
The Spirit, I beg you, blot out these terrible things we have just seen. If there is any feeling of tenderness or compassion for a death, let me see it. Please, Spirit, show me tenderness, compassion.
The color hurts my eyes. They're better now. It makes them weak by firelight. And I wouldn't show you guys to your father when he comes home for anything in the world. It must be near his time now.
Has it, rather. But I think he has walked a little slower these last few evenings, Mother.
I have known your father to walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulders very fast indeed.
So have I, often.
Your brother was light to carry, and your father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble at all. Here's your father now at the door. Why, how chill you are, Robert. Come and sit you down by the hearth and have a warm.
It looks as if you've all been very busy indeed. With such industry and speed, you'll be done long before Sunday.
Sunday? I thought you were a bit late. You went today then, Robert?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. It would have done your heart good to see how green a place it is. Right there by the old wall, beneath the yew tree. But you'll see it often, I promised him I'd walk there on a Sunday. I'm a little child. Tiny Tim.
Robert, my dear Robert. Don't be grieved, Father.
Yes. Oh, I met Mr. Scrooge's nephew on the street today. He noticed first things I looked rather down, you know, so I told him what had happened. He seemed most distressed and said, I'm heartily sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit. And heartily sorry for your good wife, too. By the by, how he ever knew that, I do not know.
How he ever knew what, Robert?
Why, that you are a good wife.
Everyone knows that, Father.
Very well observed, my boy. I hope they do. Heartily sorry for your good wife, he said. If there's anything I can do to be of service to you, he said, giving me his card. This is where I live. Pray, come to me. It really seemed as if he had known our Tiny Tim and felt with us.
I'm sure he's a good soul.
You would be sure of it, my dear, if you had saw and spoke with him. I shouldn't be surprised, mark what I say, if we got Peter a better situation.
Only hear that, Peter.
Really, Father? And then Peter will be keeping company with someone and setting up for himself. Oh, get along with you.
It's just as likely as not one of these days, though. There's plenty of time for that. But however, whenever we part from one another, I know we shall none of us forget poor Tiny Tim, shall we? Or this first parting there was among us.
No, Father.
And I know when we recollect how patient and mild he was, though he was a little child. We shall not quarrel easily among ourselves and forget poor Tiny Tim in doing it.
No, never, Father.
And I am very happy. Very happy.
Ah, Spirit, it is too sad to think of little Tiny Tim gone. They all loved him so. Ah, Spirit, I have indeed seen tenderness and compassion. But let us go and leave these good people with their grief.
All is calm.
Let's begin. That dreadful place, that pawn shop, and those people who stole the dead man's things to sell there. Well, it troubles me to think of that poor dead soul with no one to feel sorrow or sympathy. Tell me, Spirit, who was he? Where did he live? Tell me, Spirit. What, a graveyard? Well, Bob Cratchit said Tiny Tim's grave was a beautiful spot, green and beneath a yew tree. Surely this cannot be that place. Why do you show me this place, Bennett? Oh, I think I understand. It is here that I will learn the name of that poor dead man those people robbed so heartlessly. Is that why you brought me here, Spirit? Well, all right. Which one? Which one is it? That one. I can't make out the name. The writing is so faint. Ebenezer Scrooge! No! Hear me, Spirit. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I must be. Why do you show me these things if I am past all hope? Good Spirit, intercede for me. Say that I may yet change these shadows you have shown me. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, and the present, and the future. And the spirits of all three shall strive within me, and I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Please, Spirit, say I may yet sponge away the writing on this stone. Please, Spirit, please. One chance more, just one. What is this? Why, it's my own bedroom. Whoa! My own bedpost. Oh, Jacob Marley. Heaven and Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob, on my knees. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. Oh, they're not torn down. Rings and all, they're still here. I'm still here. Oh, these shadows of things to come. They will be changed. I will change them, I will. I will live in the past, in the present, and the future. And the spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, but I don't know what to do. Oh, my. I feel light as a feather. Woo! As happy as an angel. As merry as a schoolboy. Whoa. As giddy as a drunken man. Merry Christmas. Oh, that felt good. Merry Christmas to you all. And a Happy New Year to the whole world. Oh, it's all right, it's all true, it all happened. Oh, but I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. Ha! I don't know anything. Never mind, I don't care. Oh, hello, boy!
Who? Misa?
Yes, my lad. What's today?
Sir?
What's today, my fine fellow?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day? Well, then I haven't missed it. Why, the spirits have done it all in one night. Well, of course, ha! They can do anything they like. Hello, boy!
Hello.
Do you know the Poulterers in the next street but one at the corner?
I should hope I did.
Oh, my. An intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Why, I think I'm going to like children. Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey was hanging up there? Not the little prize turkey, but the big one.
What? The one as big as me?
Oh, a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, remark.
It's hanging there now.
Is it? Well, go and buy it.
Who, sir? Me, sir?
Yes, sir. You, sir. Here. Take this money and go and buy it. Tell them to bring it here so that I may give them directions where to take it.
Yes, sir.
Come back with the poultice, and I'll give you a shilling.
Yes, sir.
Come back with him in less than 5 minutes, and I'll give you half a crown.
Yes, sir.
Look at him go, look at him go. No, I'll send it round to Bob Cratchit. He shall know who sent it. What a capital joke. Why, that turkey is twice as big as Tiny Tim. Oh, the church bells is not long to leave. I'll wait for the boy in the courtyard. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you all. Oh, it's all right. It's all true. It all happened. It's Christmas Day, and I didn't miss it. It's Christmas Day.
Scrooge went downstairs and into the streets waiting for the coming of the turkey. By now, all the people of the town were pouring forth, eager to share in the holiday spirit. Then Scrooge saw the gentlewomen who had been at his counting house the day before.
Ah, my dear ladies, how do you do? I do hope you had success yesterday, and a Merry Christmas to you both.
Mr. Scrooge, isn't it?
Well, yes, that's my name. I fear you may not find it too pleasant. Allow me to ask your pardon, and, well, would you do me the goodness of...
Sir, are you serious?
If you please, madam, not a farthing less. There are a great many back payments in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
My dear sir, I don't know what to say to such munificence.
Don't say anything. Just come round to see me tomorrow. Will you do that?
Yes, sir, we will.
Good.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you both very much.
Merry Christmas.
I'm very much obliged to you. Yes, Merry Christmas.
Then Scrooge saw the boy pulling the poultice. The poultice was carrying the largest turkey anyone had ever seen.
Here he was, sir. Oh, this is the finest turkey we've ever had in the shop.
Look at that turkey. He could never have stood upon his legs. He'd have snapped them off short in a minute like sticks of sealing wax.
He would indeed, sir.
Oh, the address. Yes. There you are. That's the address. But, my dear sir, you couldn't possibly carry that huge turkey all the way to Camden Town. You must have a cab.
Oh, no, sir.
No, Lord. There you are. There's for the turkey and cab fare there and back and something for you. Merry Christmas.
Ah, thank you, sir.
Yes.
And a Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah. And you, my boy, what did we say?
Half a crown, sir.
Indeed we did. Half a crown. There you are, my boy, half a crown. A good job you did too, and a Merry Christmas to you, my boy.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas, sir, and God bless.
Oh, God bless you, my boy. God bless you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thomas Shelley.
Mr. Scrooge, please, sir, don't turn us out. I don't have a father.
You don't have a father? Well, Thomas, that will never do. If you don't have a farthing, here, take these. I want you to get the finest Christmas dinner you can find. For yourself your wife and your delightful family.
Mr. Scrooge?
What about the rent?
Ah, the rent. Well, you shall simply have to pay me when you have it. In the meantime, have the merriest Christmas in all the world.
Oh, yes, Mr. Scrooge, we will, we will. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Scrooge, thank you. And a Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah.
Merry
Whoa! Oh, my goodness. Well, Merry Christmas, my dears. Merry Christmas to you. Woo! Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. God bless you. Yes, Merry Christmas to you. Have a wonderful Christmas. Fred! Uncle? Merry Christmas, my boy. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, my dear.
Uncle, we were just about to invite you to Christmas dinner again. We had hoped you would change your mind.
Christmas dinner? Well, yes, of course I will. That is, if you'll let me in.
Let you in? I should say so. Oh, come with us now. We'll be there in 5 minutes.
Oh, wonderful. I can hardly wait. This will be the most...
Scrooge's love of Christmas and his fellow man had only just begun. Having seen to it that the Cratchit family was provided with a proper feast, Scrooge went off with his new family and had as much fun as if he'd been at old Fezziwig's. Fred and Alice and their guests were amazed at the sudden but welcome change that had occurred in him. Yet even after playing many thrilling games, dancing many a dance, and sharing gifts with everyone, Scrooge was still early at the office next morning. Oh, but he was early there. If only he could get there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming in late. That was the one thing he'd set his heart upon.
Oh, Merry Christmas, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Aha! Hello?
Oh.
What do you mean coming here at this hour of the day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I'm behind my time.
Fire! Yes, I think you are.
It's only once a year, sir, and it shall not be repeated.
Yes.
I was making rather merry last night, sir.
Were you? Well, let me tell you something, my friend. I am not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I am going to raise your salary, Bob. I'm going to double your salary. No, triple your salary. And a Merry Christmas to you, Bob. A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you in many a year. We'll discuss your affairs this very afternoon, Bob, over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. And the first order of business will be to find the finest doctors in all of London for Tiny Tim.
Oh, sir.
But first, go out and buy another scuttle of coal. And make up the fires before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit. And a Merry Christmas to you, my boy. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir, Mr. Scrooge. Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge!
Ah, what a good joke. Scrooge did it all and more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he became a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, as good a man, as any man in a good old city, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world.
And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that truly be said of us, and all of us. And as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.